Welcome to Pushback. I'm Aaron Maté. Dangerous conditions for workers on the front lines of the coronavirus pandemic have led to labor actions across the country. In New York, workers at Amazon's Staten Island facility staged a walkout over a lack of protective gear and a failure to properly sanitize the building.
My name is Heaven, and I walked out because Amazon lied. They told me there was one case in the building, and there's actually 11, so I don't feel safe.
Amazon responded in part by firing the worker who organized that walkout. That worker joins me now, Chris Smalls, who until recently was an assistant warehouse manager at Amazon. Chris, welcome to Pushback. Let me first start by asking you to explain to us what led you to organize that walkout.
The people. I notice people getting sick weekly. Um, these people are my extended family. I spend 40, 50 hours a week with them. I couldn't sit back and do nothing, so I wanted to give them a voice. I wanted to give them a platform to speak out. This was a cry for help. Something had to be done. I don't want to see people pass away from this virus. So I took action and I took the power back.
And talk to us about your coworker. You had a coworker who was exhibiting symptoms and was tested, and how you dealt with that coworker and how Amazon responded to that.
Yeah, sure. My colleague, she's on the same level as me. She's a supervisor as well. Yeah, I walked into work on Tuesday morning. She looked ill. She had puffy eyes, red eyes. She looked fatigued. She had a mask on. She had gloves on. We were from a distance. We were talking. I said, "You need to go home." And that's when she told me that she went last night, the previous night, which was Monday, to get tested. You don't get the test unless you're showing symptoms. So I told her, you go home right away. And she did. 2 hours later, at a small managers meeting, we got confirmation that we had another positive case. So it was just a red flag for me right there. Like, something's going on in this building. The management team, they told us, like, don't tell the employees. We don't want to cause a panic. And I was like, what do you mean? They had the right to know. They were going around telling people individually. I didn't agree with that. So I told as many people as I can, and I walked out the door. I clocked out for the last time ever for Amazon. Every day after that, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, up until the day they put me on the quarantine. I came back to the building and I sat in the break room for 8 hours a day. And I told every person that I came in, I had a conversation with, that the virus is in the building. They need to know the information. I told them. I even walk groups to the general manager's office every morning, voicing their concerns, giving them that bridge from the employees to the management, to the higher ups, like, hey, we need the building closed and sanitized. They didn't act on it. They refused to listen to them. So that right there forced me to do what I had to do and mobilize a walkout.
What were some of the basic demands in terms of seeking gear and sanitization?
Yeah, we needed more. It's not enough cleaning supplies, and you think that Amazon building is 900,000 square feet. Um, they're getting clean. These facilities are being cleaned by a third party. They're human beings as well. They're scared as well. Half of them don't even show up. So you think about it, they made plans for 25 of them to come clean the building, but if only 10 of them show up, that's all we have for the day. There's no immediate fix for that. What can you do? Now you're telling your employees to clean their own workstations with what? The inventory is scarce. As far as cleaning supplies, they don't have those things at hand anymore. They've been depleted weeks ago. And you got to think about it. The medical field don't even have PPE. What makes you think the retail industry going to have PPE? The type of PPE that we have is not what we need to protect ourselves. We don't have masks. We don't have gloves. So people are scared to come to work. So I'm giving these people a voice that are home right now till this day that's unpaid. You got people with underlying health conditions, lupus, bronchitis, asthma. You got women that are pregnant. You got women that got infant kids at home that can't be around their kids if they're going to work. I'm speaking up for them. They need to be paid, myself included. I haven't been around my kids in 2 months. I wasn't paid. I haven't been on a paid quarantine because I haven't received any money. So they keep saying that as well. So this is the reason why I started this movement. And as you can see, all across the nation, buildings are starting to take action now. And I hope they do, and I fully support them.
At your facility, were there also senior citizens working there? I know that for many people,
Absolutely.
after they retire, this Amazon is an option for them in terms of being able to
Absolutely.
supplement their income. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I had people working under me that were 80 years old. These are people grandparents. I had people 55, 65, 70. Yeah, people, they still come in for part-time work. It's not really the best recommendation, but they do, sometimes being active as a senior citizen helps them live longer. So, sometimes they come to work. I don't blame them. And they can't come to work right now. They can't. It's a high risk, and this is life or death. This is something we never dealt with before. So I had to take a stand. I couldn't sit back and watch people get sick. There's 5,000 employees in that building. We're in the epicenter of New York. Imagine how many people can possibly catch this virus.
This coworker of yours who you sent home, they were tested, but after they were tested, they still came back to work, right? And they were positive?
Yes, yes, and that's the flaws with the policy. The policy allows for it. You're not actually officially put on quarantine until you get the results back to the HR department. So imagine you go get tested. You don't know your diagnosis yet for a few days. You got to wait that time out. And then your diagnosis come back and it's positive, but you've been exposed. You have exposure to hundreds of thousands of people. Not hundreds of thousands, but hundreds of people. And there's thousands of people that work there. So imagine what we just did. We just breeded the coronavirus in that building. And that was my discrepancy. Like that, their policies are very, very flawed. You don't get quarantine pay until you get the virus. Why do I have to get sick to get paid? That doesn't make sense to me. And yeah, that's something that they need to figure out. Well, actually, they don't need to figure it out. They need to shut down the building.
And so because you interacted with this colleague of yours who you sent home out of concern that they were infected, which they were, then Amazon now claims that that's why they fired you, because you came back to the facility to take part in this walkout that you organized, but that was a violation of your social distancing order from them. What is your response to that?
Well, that is not entirely true. Yeah, I came back, but I didn't put anybody's health at risk. They did. That's what I did, the complete opposite. Thank God that I sent her home. Thank God, because what if I didn't? She would have been there another 10-hour shift. What about the employees that have been around her for 10 hours? Why were none of them put on quarantine? Why, if I came in contact with her, I was only around her for 5 minutes. If I'm a health risk, why would they allow me to come in and out the building for the rest of the week? I came in and out the general manager's office. He's not on quarantine. The person that I ride to work with every day, they ain't put him on quarantine. But you put only me. So you could tell this was a targeted attack. It's retaliation. They wanted to silence me. They wanted to cut off the head of the snake. And that's not going to stop me. It's not going to stop me. I'm going to continue to fight. And shame on Amazon.
When this crisis really blew open in the U.S. in mid-March, Whole Foods responded by telling employees that they could donate their paid time off to sick colleagues. What was the response inside your workplace to that?
Well, we work for a different part of Amazon. We're not really tied together, even though Amazon owns Whole Foods. These type of fulfillments where we work at, we're more about the electronics and the Amazon-owned products. I haven't even No one had any idea about that. What I could say is Jeff Bezos don't need any donations. We all know that. So for him to even put that out there, it's just crazy to me. Donations? He's the richest man in the world. What do he need donations for? He needs to take care of his people. That's what he needs to do. You know.
One talking point that I've seen being circulated amongst defenders of Amazon is that workers like yourself are abandoning the American people who rely on Amazon to have delivered to them the essential goods that they need to survive this crisis. What is your response to that?
So we're not American people. I don't understand that. This is the problem. They're comparing us to the medical field. We're not in the medical field. We're not the Red Cross, like Jeff Bezos stated. We're not heroes. We're regular people. We're not doing our communities good if we're carriers of the virus that don't have a cure. They need to stop stating that. Stop comparing us to the medical field. We're not. My job description says have a high school diploma or a GED or lift 50 pounds. It does not say put your life on the line during a pandemic for a virus that doesn't have a cure. The first responders, the doctors, the nurses, those are the real heroes. Why don't we support them? The money that Jeff Bezos had, put money into the medical field right now. Pay your employees that's home right now. We don't need to be working right now. We don't. You want to practice real social distancing, America, stop clicking the button. There's 500,000 employees nationwide. 500,000 employees nationwide. Just imagine if all of us became carriers. How long this pandemic would go on? Think about it. So that's my message to them.
Since you were fired by Amazon, have you heard from any of your colleagues at the warehouse?
Absolutely. Every day. I talk to them all day, every day. I was very loved within the company. This is my third building. I've been with the company 5 years. People going to reach out to me for years. I built strong relationships with people. I was very well respected. I'm getting reached out from people all over the nation right now. Different buildings, they're planning walkouts. We have a walkout going on as we speak in Detroit, and I support them 100%. I got a phone call at 4 a.m. about another building planning one, and I fully support it. I started a revolution, and I hope it continues. These CEOs, these big bosses that sit on all their millions, they need to do something about it, or if not, we're going to take the power and do it ourselves.
The New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio has called for an inquiry into your firing. Do you have any hope in that will lead to some justice for you?
Yeah, I mean, kudos to him. Thank you, the mayor. Thanks to the attorney general for supporting that. I'll cross that bridge when I get there. Right now, my main focus is to continue fighting to get these people out of that building. I have legal representation, talking to them behind the scenes, but right now that's not my focus. I'm still unemployed right now, and I'm worried about my people. That's what I started this for. It was never about me. It was never about money. This was about saving lives, and that's what I'm fighting for.
Chris Smalls, now former Amazon warehouse assistant manager who organized the walkout at the company's facility on Staten Island and was then fired for it. Chris, thanks very much.
Thank you for having me. Take care. Y'all be safe.